Well, yeah, we're outdoors. If you want to take the mask off, you can, but you don't have to. We'll put them back on if you go inside with us. So it is truly great to be here. Just a little side note. I served on the board of directors for the Children's Discovery Center for several years, so this place is near and dear, and it is a true Kansas treasure. So I appreciate them allowing us to make this amazing announcement today, because today we're all here to celebrate really big news. A true victory for Kansas kids and families and all those who interact with our child welfare system. You know, this morning I signed Executive Order 2127, which, among other provisions, establishes an Office of Public Advocates for the state of Kansas. This order will create an independent office housed in the Department of Administration. The office will be dedicated to assisting Kansans as they navigate some of our most complex and confusing social systems, our long-term care system and CanCare, our Medicaid program. But the Office of Public Advocates is not complete with just those two divisions. We also need to address another broad and complicated area within the state, our child welfare system. Before I go on, I want to talk about how we got to this moment. When I was in the state Senate, I served on the Child Welfare Task Force, along with a number of others who are here with us today. We took a deep dive into our child welfare system with an intense focus on our foster care system. What we found was shameful. Kids were unnecessarily entering the system because the budget for the Department of Children and Families had been slashed, resulting in near elimination of the Family Preservation Division. Children were stuck in the system because we didn't have the resources on the other end to reintegrate them with their biological family or an adoptive family. When I became governor, fixing this mess was a very high priority. The first and most impactful step I took was to appoint Secretary Laura Howard to lead both. Secretary Howard leads both the Kansas Department of Children and Families and the Kansas Department of Aging and Disability Services. Secretary Howard is a nationally recognized expert in human services and child welfare. Under her strong leadership, DCF has made significant progress in addressing underlying issues in our child welfare system. The agency added dozens of new caseworkers in the Child Protection Division. We transitioned to new foster care case management contracts to guarantee accountability and transparency. We eliminated barriers so that more families can access child care assistance. We also became one of the first states to leverage federal funding through the landmark Family First Prevention Services Act. Family First uses community-based partnerships that prevent the need for foster care, keeping families together and children safe. We also improved our performance in placement stability for children in foster care. And we awarded TANF, Youth and Family Stability Grants, to give families access to support programs that keep families intact and reduce poverty. Our efforts to fix the broken foster care system are making a real difference. Since 2019, we've seen an overall reduction in demand for foster care from nearly 7,600 in 2018 to approximately 6,800 this past June. A 51% reduction in the rate of moves for foster kids per 1,000 days in care. Additional support put in place for older youth, including employment support through local businesses and programs designed to help with the costs of driver's education, licensing, and auto insurance. Enhanced mental health supports, and the creation of a mobile youth crisis support service to serve all youth and families in Kansas. We've made a meaningful difference, but we know our work will never be done. We must continue seeking innovative ways to improve our child welfare system and protect our kids. Today, I'm announcing another significant step forward in those efforts, an action to make certain that we never again let our child welfare services fail our children so badly. Today, I'm signing Executive Order 2128, creating the Division of the Child Advocate within the Office of Public Advocates. This executive order makes Kansas the 14th state in the nation to have an independent agency focused on child welfare oversight. Establishing independent oversight of our state's child welfare system has been discussed for years. Legislators from both parties have worked hard to create this entity over the past few legislative sessions. By introducing a variety of bills in committee or on the floor, they never gave up searching for a solution to a very big problem. As often happens, however, during the legislative process, reaching consensus was difficult and time ran out. Knowing how important this child advocate position is, I directed my team to explore every possible solution to get this done. My administration worked with a bipartisan group of legislators and stakeholders to draft an order that protects the best interests of Kansas kids and families. Under the order, the Division of the Child Advocate will act as a one-stop shop for Kansans who need support and guidance. The division will address and investigate complaints. They'll help families and partners navigate the child welfare system. They'll recommend structural changes to improve child welfare services. And they'll expand coordination between state agencies, child welfare contractors, and partners in the child welfare system. Above all, the division will work to ensure that all Kansas children, all Kansas families, are getting the services they need when they need them. Months of bipartisan collaboration and care have culminated in the document I will sign in a few moments. But I want to thank all those who made today possible, including the coalition of Kansas legislators, and I've got to give Jared Owsley a shout out. Jared's never let this issue go, and other legislators who have been engaged in this issue for several years. The families who have dedicated time to advocating and testifying on this subject. The Children's Alliance of Kansas, Kansas Appleseed, and the Strengthened Families Rebuild Hope Coalition, and the hardworking team at DCF and across our state agencies. I appreciate your partnership in making the Division of the Child Advocate become a reality, and your commitment to Kansas children and families. I look forward to working with all of you as we strive to do our best and be the best advocates Kansas children ever had. And with that, I'm going to sign Executive Order number 2128, creating the Division of the Child Advocate. Everybody come on out here.
Thank you. Governor, during the legislative debate on this topic, there was some skepticism that an office under the administration could truly be independent, and there was some discussion of creating an independent office completely, putting it under the Attorney General. I think there were one or two other things. Why isn't this just going to be, I don't know, a tool for a cover-up of problems because it's your administration?
Well, it will be no such thing. There will be no cover-up in this division of the Child Advocate and the Office of Public Advocates. We did it this way because, as you know, there are always a lot of things to take into consideration, and some of them is just the feasibility of doing it one way or the other, or whether or not in the long run, you want to consider this division sort of a law enforcement division, or do you want to really see it as an advocacy division? And we decided that this is truly, we want this to be an advocate. We want this to be an office that works on behalf of our children and on behalf of our families. And it does have independence. We have structured this in a way that, yes, I will appoint the person to the office, well, not the Office of Public Advocates, but the Division of Child Advocate, the long-term ombuds, and the CanCare ombuds. But they will be appointments different than your usual. It will not be at the pleasure of the governor. These will be for set terms, and then when those terms end, they can either be reappointed or a new person can come in. But the terms are relatively lengthy. I think the long-term ombuds is 4 years. I think the Division of Child Advocate we've set for 5 years. So there's a runway for this person to operate and get some things done. During that period of time, I can't fire, neither can the legislature. We would follow, if there was a need to replace whoever's appointed to the position for whatever reason, there is an ouster procedure that's in statute, and we would have to follow that, and that's a pretty rigorous process. So this is about as independent as you can possibly get without it being a private entity.
Do you have the people involved in mind? Do you have the people you want to appoint to those positions?
Not yet.
Not yet?
No.
How quick?
We needed as quickly as we possibly can. We will get people in place, but I think actually, given the way that it works, the long-term ombuds is already in place. That was a position. The term ran out. I think I had just appointed Laura. Correct me if I'm wrong, but within the past 6 months or so, that position has transitioned, and there's a new person in there who's at the beginning of that 4-year term. So that one's a done deal. The other two have not been selected yet.
What level of authority will this ombud have to audit and issue recommendations to DCF?
A lot, yeah. This person can access files, records, all of the kinds of things that frustrated, quite honestly, legislators for years. So this position will be allowed to get that kind of information. Will have access to information that cannot be made available to the general public, or even in some cases to the legislatures. But this office will have that authority.
So no more kids sleeping in offices?
That's not this point. I mean, certainly improving the child welfare system and the foster care system is what Secretary Howard and her folks have been working on, and we really brought that down significantly, and will continue to do that. But that's not specifically why this is being set up. We're already dealing with that. This is for those families, who. Whether they are the biological family or they're the foster care family, will have this office to turn to if there are issues that are not being resolved, or questions that they have about where they might go. This will be the office where they go to. This will be the advocacy office.
Last question.
But this is an executive order, so when you're out of office, the next governor could come around and just do away with it.
You know, that is absolutely true, but I have no doubt that my colleagues in the legislature are thinking very seriously about that, and we'll be working together to see if there's a way that we can actually cement this in statute, so that it is not subject to any political pressure or bias.
Thank you.